What if you're doing shamanic practice and you get lost in space? Oh my goodness. What if you're deep into a drum journey and you can't come out? What if you're in a deep journey and having visions, but they're the wrong visions and the demons take over and you do all this harm and you become completely possessed by the wrong energies? Yeah, I've been warned so many times when I was teaching drum journeying, especially early on. I was warned by people who really didn't know what they were talking about. Oh my goodness. And you would think, oh, well, yeah, of course, that must have been your Catholic friends. That must have been your fundamentalist religious friends who are scared of any spirit that doesn't come in a book that was written by an emperor in the year 430 or whatever that was, Constantine. No, it wasn't them. It was the woo-woo people who gave me all these warnings. It was the psychic teachers who gave me these warnings, and I think I understand why. Look, there are a lot of people who make their living off of this difference of power between people who can consciously navigate psychic realms and people who can't. And while in my experience, most professional intuitives, most energy healers, and woo folk are coming from a really good place, coming from a place of integrity, and are actually really so scared of cheating people that they won't even let themselves make enough money to be comfortable in their own lives. That's why I have the business mentorship. That's why I've been teaching business for the past 20 years, because I think the intuitively gifted folks should be making good money and their work should be valued in our culture, and the way that we value work in this culture is by paying it. But that's another video. Right now, I also want to speak to the fact that teaching spiritual awakening, quote unquote, practices, shamanic practices, quote unquote, with all the quote unquotes, right? Because all the words are kind of crappy. But like teaching people how to directly contact the other side, how to directly collaborate with their own spirit guides and angels and energies of positive, loving, divine alignment. Oh, and just as I say that, the hawk is crying in the sky outside. Thank you, hawk. That art of being intuitive doesn't belong to anyone. Doesn't belong to people who've studied in the Psychic Institute. It doesn't belong to people who are, within any one tradition or faith or religion. It doesn't belong to humans. From early in my awakening process, and again, I hate that word awakening, but again, the words. From early in my process of intuitive awakening, I recognize that this stuff is all normal and natural, that being able to relate directly with nature and the creator and all the natural unseen forces that are here to support us and to collaborate with us, it's natural. It's supernatural, not just supernatural. It's supernatural. Okay? It's natural, superly so. The supernatural is supernatural for us. And so early in the game, back when I had the San Diego Circle Shamanic Healing Arts Center, this cute little storefront where Laura, my partner, my friend, bestie friend, and shamanic partner and business partner, that we opened up in North Park in San Diego on Ray Street, which was the cute burgeoning arts district in San Diego. Anyways, when we opened that place, we had both had this awakening of our gifts that came very naturally and very spontaneously. And we had some professional psychics come through there on occasion, not all the time, but a few who came through there and said, you girls can't be teaching this stuff. We're like, why not? It seems to be working. And they're like, well, those of us who do teach this stuff have been studying for a very, very, very long time. And those of us that do teach this stuff, we don't teach people how to drop into shamanic journey state, journey with the drum, this gentle, there goes the hawk again. I don't know if you can hear that, but this gentle trance state, this dream state, this visioning state, it takes people years to learn to do that. And we're like, no, it doesn't. People come here, we teach them in a couple days. Why would you have to take years to do that? Well, there's lots of rules and protocols that you have to follow. Oh, or what? And this is where those warnings came in. Or you could be lost in space. We're like, no, there's no danger of being lost in space. Or you could get involved and be tricked by these very nefarious spirits. And we're like, well, no, because we're invoking the highest. Like, we're invoking the angels, we're invoking our guides, we're invoking the highest good, even beyond what we egoly want. We're invoking the good stuff, and we're working with Maria and the clan guardians of the Tilsh Dayan, and they protect us. Like, we're protected. We don't need to be afraid of these things. And she got so ruffled. Remember this woman, woof. She got so ruffled. Well, that's not part of my experience. I'm like, well, gosh, I'd hate to think that when people come to learn with you, you tell them that this is going to be really hard and that it's going to take years for you to drop into a journey state. I'm like, isn't a journey state the same kind of brainwave state that we're always in? Like when we're just waking up from a nap or just waking up in the morning and we're kind of in that dreamy state. Like what I've seen says that's basically the same state. The drum just helps you kind of go into that state when you're not waking up from a nap. And it helps you stay in that state while you're breathing and relaxing and getting better rest than sometimes you can when you're sleeping. She did not like this conversation. She's like, well, I've been doing this a very long time and people need a lot of time to learn to do this. And I'm like, I hear you, and I'm sure that you've got a system, like a structured system that helps people feel safe and navigate the realms. And I said, and I admit I've only been doing this for a year or something. Like, so I get that you know stuff that I don't know. I also get that this stuff is not unsafe for people. And when we go in with the idea that people could be unsafe, just dropping into their own minds, their own relaxed, meditative mindset to pray and speak and commune with their own guides, when we put it on them that this could be dangerous and bad, guess what happens? Their intentional field is tweaked, and now they believe this could be bad and dangerous. And so, what do we know about humans? What we know is that if we put ourselves in a really horrible mood, we will probably have a really horrible day. And I'm not saying that bad things only happen when we're in a bad mood or that our intention is the only controlling factor. I'm not saying that. However, if you teach people to be afraid of spirit, I think you're really doing them a disservice. If you teach people that they're not stewards of their own minds, I think that's where the danger comes in. So, I just needed to speak that, okay? Now I'll speak another truth, which is the places where we go in journey, they're not just imaginary. And that's a part that I think this woman was trying to get across. It's not just imaginary. This is not just playtime. We really are doing some things, and we're going to places that exist, even if we see them differently. For example, I went into Journey, you know, I was using the drum to journey like I do, like I teach people to do. And my guides, I would go in and I would say, guides, show me something that I'm here to learn. Show, you know, what's in the highest good for me to know? And they would take me places. And one place that I was taken was this, I call it the Blue Planet, because it was like this place in my imagination, in my vision, right? I want to say imagination, but hold on a minute, because the story shows me it wasn't just my imagination. They take me to this place and there's like this council of ambassador-looking beings. You know, that's how I see them in my mind's eye. And they would ask me questions. What's it like to feel emotions? And they would ask, can I taste your emotions? I'm not going to do you any harm. This is in the highest good. I'm like, sure, why not? And they would taste my oh, wow. And that would teach them so much about something in this vision. And then they would, like, in gratitude, say, well, would you like an energy gift? I'm sure, you know, if it's in the highest good, always in the highest good. And then they give me this energy gift. And after that journey, I would find, oh, I've got a new intuitive ability. I've got a new ability that has results in the real world. Whoa, I feel like they just gave me a gift and I gave them the gift of communication, of experiencing what human emotion is like. And so these journeys were really beautiful. And I had them a lot, a couple times a week, where I would go to this blue place. I just called it like the Blue Place or the Blue Planet, where this council of beings were, and collaborate with them in my vision. Now, look, I'm a former lawyer, right? I'm not thinking to myself, this is a real place and I'm talking to aliens. And like, I was just thinking, wow, whatever my mind is doing here, maybe it's a different part of me that needs to taste my own emotions in this dream state. Maybe tasting my own emotions in that way, or honoring my emotions, is why I end up with this new energetic ability when I come out of Journey. So to me, I'm rationalizing it. I'm recognizing that the subconscious is a powerful place, and this is my imaginary world, you know? Okay. I start sharing, mostly at the Center for the San Diego Circle that we had, with people who've been studying woo-woo stuff, who've been really studying, you know, trance and aliens and all that woo-woo stuff that I still didn't totally believe in all that stuff. And I described this blue place and the council, and the person who was more, you know, educated than I in the woo-woo ways was like, oh, the Council of Sirius. I'm like, what? And she's like, yeah, that's where you go, and it kind of, the overriding color is blue, and it's like a council of like ambassadors kind of in rows. And then they like to ask, like, they're here to study humanity, so they ask if they can taste your emotions, and they're very respectful, and they're the highest. My head was reeling, because I was like, oh crap, this isn't just my imaginary world. Like, this isn't just, you mean other people go to my imaginary world? She's like, oh, books have been written about this, channels have talked about it. I'm like, oh, Freaky Friday. And that was one of my big, like, I want to say come to Jesus moments, although most people don't think Jesus has to do with this, and I believe he does. But I was like, it really freaked me out, okay? It really expanded my mind to think that these things that I was experiencing with the drum in this journey state were things that other people had written about, that throngs of people had experienced in the same way that I had. So since then, I've grown more comfortable with the fact that, yeah, there's places that are invisible in our normal lives, that are dimensions or places or spaces or planets, I don't know, that have reality, like that are quantifiable, that are somewhat proven, because it's not just me who's been there and had this experience. The lawyer in me still wants to fight that. The lawyer in me still wants to say, well, That's because our brains are built the same way, and so we use the same metaphors, and the color blue is a peaceful color. I don't know. But dude, when you recognize that that when you use the drum, go into journey and travel, you're traveling to some of the same places that other people have traveled. So I don't think it's dangerous. I think it's natural. And I think it's far beyond what we're taught to believe. And I think that these places and these experiences that we can have in shamanic journey are just as real as the experiences that we can have walking on our legs around this planet. And I do believe that as long as you are entering the dream with the highest good as your intention, I do know that you are protected. You are protected. And I don't think that you need to follow religious rules specifically, or I don't know, I don't think you need an intermediary to talk to spirit. And as I say that, the old Catholic in me is like, that's heresy. And I'm like, that's actually what Jesus taught and lived. So it's time for us to unpack these things. It's time for us to quit being afraid of our own supernatural gifts. And I'm here for it. And I'm here to help you do it if you want my support in that. That's what the Wisdom Collective is for. That's what the Wisdom Mastermind is for. That's why I'm teaching shamanic journey drumming stuff again, because this is yours and it's natural. And I think you should have access to it. You're welcome. Thanks for being here.